So for our final step of creating your project, we are starting off in GitHub. GitHub is a website for hosting code. It's pretty much all you need to know. And we will not be delving into any of the complexities of it, but you do need to make an account for this to work. I already have an account, but I'm going to go through the sign up process with you so that I can just make sure that you are familiar with that and that you can get through that stage. So you want to go to github.com. And then click on sign up. What I will say with this, as opposed to when I was using Vectary, please do use an email address that you have immediate access to now, because you will have to confirm your email address. So I'm going to use an email address that I haven't previously used to sign up with so that I can show you the process, but it does have to be a working email that you do have access to. So enter your email address and then of course create a password, enter a username, calling it Edie Teaching because I'm going to use this for just generally workshop accounts. And then would you like to receive updates? No, I am fine. There will be a couple of these capture things, but once you're through there, click create account. This is why you need to have access to that email address. So I'm just going to jump into my emails now so that I can get the confirmation code. Yeah, so you'll have an email. Obviously check your spam if you don't get it. It will be titled your GitHub launch code. You then type that in. And once you've done that, again, more questions that are not relevant at all. For example, here, it's very subtle, but they've got skip personalization at the bottom. So if you press skip, you can get past all that. If you find you do have to answer those kind of personalization questions, really just ignore them. So you'll get to this page. If your browser is not set to dark mode, it will have a white background. But otherwise, it'll be exactly the same. There's very little that you need to know about what's on this page. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump now straight into ARjs Studio. So now we're looking at AR.js Studio. AR.js is a JavaScript framework designed to basically make augmented reality experiences in your web browser. It's free, it's open source, and it's a really cool project. There's loads you can do with it. The great thing about this AR.js Studio that we're using is it generates the code for you. So you don't need to get stuck into any kind of coding. You can just go through the steps and we can create something quite easily using this and in combination with GitHub. So once you get on this page, you pick your project type and we are working with marker based and then click start building. Here is where you choose what you want to have as your marker. There is a default marker. You can leave that if you want to. What I would say is whatever marker you choose, make sure you download it so you've got a copy of it. So there's a download marker button here, but you can also upload an image to use for your own marker instead of the default one. There's a guide when you're looking at this page that shows you what kind of images are good for markers. Some are more easy for the camera to recognize than others. You want it to be kind of a logo or high contrast. So similar to the kind of one that we're looking at. The three different examples, they all use different markers, all quite simple shapes and high contrast. For this one, I'm going to just go in and upload the bomb logo. So what you'll see is once you've uploaded your own marker image, it then inserts it into this space. These borders, the white and the black borders around the logo, are important for it to be able to recognize the marker. So make sure once it's uploaded and you see it there that you then download this copy of it. So that'll go into your downloads folder. And as you can see, it's the whole marker is then available to you rather than just the image that you uploaded. So make sure you save that for later. Then we get to choosing our content. So we've got a few different types of content that we've made, dependent on whether you did all of the videos, if you just chose one of them, looked at all of the examples, maybe there's a particular one that you want to replicate. So we've got 2 3D objects and we've got an image. The thing I would avoid at this point is don't use a video, purely because most mobile browsers now don't allow for autoplay of videos. It's a security issue, so your video won't play. You can upload it and you can export it and it'll work, but you'll just get the first still image of your video rather than the full video. So that's why we're focusing on 3D objects and images in this case. When you're on this page, you can also see the different file types that are suitable and also the maximum file size. That might help you if you have any trouble with uploading something. It might be that it's the wrong file type or it's too big. We have hopefully, if you follow through the other videos, got things that are already perfect and ideal for this step. So this is where you would go in and upload, for example, your image. So if you're using an image, here's the photo from the image-based example that I used. Once you've uploaded it, it will evidence that it's uploaded successfully because you'll see it here. It will be shown on the screen. demonstrating that it has uploaded. What I would say with images, make sure that you use a square image in this case, otherwise it'll get squished. ARjs Studio specifically works with square images, i.e. the same dimensions on all sides. There are ways that you can use different sizes of images, but for simplicity at this stage, try and use an image that's square. I am going to remove that photo though by clicking this button here because I want to upload the lollipop model. So again, this is where you could upload either your model that you've created in Vectary or your 3D scan from Qlone. I'm going to bring in the lollipop. And again, same with the photo. I can now click and drag, I can look at it, I can move it around. That shows that it's uploaded successfully because I can see it there in the preview. So the last step is to export your project. You have two options here. You can download it if you're wanting to host it somewhere else. But because we're hosting on GitHub, you just want to click this Publish on GitHub button. Once again, it gives you an opportunity to download your marker if you didn't do so previously. Again, because you need this one with the borders around it rather than the one that you've already got saved on your computer. So if you haven't already downloaded it, click Download Marker here. The final step is to publish it. You can call it whatever you want at this stage because we're going to rename it. So I'm just putting any old name in there, and then you just want to click Publish. If this is your first time doing anything that links ARjs Studio and GitHub, you'll see this page. This is GitHub saying, are you sure that you want to authorize ARjs Studio to make changes to your GitHub account? And at this point, you need to say, yes, authorize ARjs.org. So choose the green button. There's a bit here where you might be waiting a little while. Eventually, you'll get a link come up. That was quite quick. It can really be dependent on how big your file is, that kind of thing. But you'll see here you've got a shareable link will pop up, which is attached to your GitHub account. Don't click on that now in your browser. It will bring up your webcam and confuse you. We're not going to be going to that link on your computer. We're going to be going to that link on your phone. So we're done now with ARjs Studio. We can go back into GitHub. So now if you're back on this screen, back in your GitHub account, it has published to your account. So to be able to see it, go to this top right-hand icon, which is to access your profile. Once you're back in GitHub, we just need to find where it's published it. So go to the top right-hand corner where your profile is. There's a little drop-down and an icon, and you want to go to your repositories. You may have nothing but the one project in here. I have a few different ones in here because I've been testing a few things out. The very top one for me is the one that I've just published. If you just have one, then that's a lot easier, but it'll just be, the most recently published one. And you want to click on it. So click on the name of the project. And this is why I said we're going to be renaming it, because as you can see, ARjs helpfully puts a load of letters on the end so that it makes sure that it's got a unique name. But that's not very helpful for us because we want to be typing this in on our phone. And the next step that you need to do is just rename this project, and then we're pretty much done and ready to have a look at it. So go into settings, it's in the top menu bar, the settings, a little cog icon. You go into the settings for the project. And as you can see at the top here, it says repository name. So in here, I'm going to rename that. I'm just going to call it bomb, and I'm going to click rename. So it ticks to say that's fine. Yes, you can use that name. And I'm going to click rename. Ignore the fact that it hasn't changed here. This isn't important, the README. But if you look in the top left next to your account name, you'll see now that you've got your new name up there. So the repository has a new name. I'd recommend something short and easy to type on a mobile device because that's what we're going to be doing next, is jumping in to the mobile view to basically have a look at your project and see how it works.